guys. People dug into someone's roof for their friend. Hi everyone, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name is Tanatwa and I make faith-based content. If that's something that you're interested in, do make sure that you click subscribe and join the family. Today we're looking at a man who was very blessed, and he had the most crazy, imaginative and loving friends. These 4 friends were just one of a kind, and I hope you guys will enjoy this video, so let's get into it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and summarize the story for you. Today's reading is coming from Mark chapter 2 verse 1 to 5. So basically what happened is Jesus was preaching in a home, and he was sitting at the center and everyone was around him, and he was teaching, but the room was so full, like really super full. There were crowds around the house. It was just overflowing. Like, just imagine like a place or a building overflowing with people, with crowds and crowds of people. These 4 men had their friend, and I'm just trying to imagine how the friend was feeling, because the Bible describes the man as a paralytic man, and based on what I know as a medical student, someone who's paralyzed is someone who has lost voluntary control in one or more limbs. So this man had lost control in one or more limbs on his body, and also knowing that being paralyzed can take out a lot from someone mentally, spiritually, physically, even financially, you know. So anyways, I just tried to think, how did this man feel? How was this man feeling at this point in his life when he was paralyzed? It must have been a really bad experience. Anyways, so these 4 men, they see their friend. So whether the friend told these 4 men that, you know what guys, I'm paralyzed and I'm not okay and I really need help, or these men thought to themselves, well, let's take our friend to Jesus since he's paralyzed, we know where he can get the help. Fine, this men decide, okay, let's carry our friend on a mat and let's take him to Jesus. So when they reach to this house, when they reach the entrance, the door, they see crowds and they see an obstacle, but nothing. They were not gonna stop at nothing. Literally nothing was going to stop these men. Guess what they did, guys? So these men, they decide, okay, let's imagine, what are we gonna do? Let's be creative about this. Then they think of making an opening in someone's home, guys. I was like, wow. Every time when I read this story, I'm like, wow. So I went in a little bit deep. So houses during that time, the roofs were made of dry clay, and they had branches that were intercrossing. Branches were crossing each other, and then in between those branches, people would put clay, and then they would let it dry out, and then it would be solid and kind of thick. So these men did not only just remove tiles. I thought the roof that they were removing were like tiles, you know, where you just lift the tile up. No, these men were digging into the roof, literally making a hole using knives or whatever they were using, but they were digging into the roof, and the roof had dry clay. Anyways, these men, they dug into the roof and they lowered their friend down on a mat. First of all, I just want to talk about these men, these 4 men. First of all, I love their creativity. I love that they were not stopping at nothing to get their friend to Jesus. And I mean, when we read about it, there were later in the chapter, we find that there were Pharisees in this room where Jesus was preaching, and these Pharisees ended up questioning Jesus on what he had done. We'll get there. And these Pharisees were respected people, respected religious leaders. And these men did not stop at nothing. They were not intimidated, you know. Imagine who intimidates me. Honestly, I tried to relate it to my life. I think I would be intimidated by soldiers who are holding guns. I feel like this is how the religious leaders were. I don't know, you guys comment and tell me what you guys think. But I think the religious leaders were strict people who could pass a law and get someone killed. I don't know. But personally, if I saw soldiers holding guns and there are people who literally hold my life in their hands. They can just pass something and I can just find myself gone. I wouldn't have done that. But these men were not stopping at nothing. Like, they were just going forward with their plan. They were brave, honestly. They were crazy and loving as well. Anyway, so they dug this hole, they lowered the mat. This man was brought to Jesus. Jesus said, your faith, because of your faith, your sins will be forgiven. And this man found his healing. I bet the friends were so happy. So that's the whole story. You'll find it in Mark chapter 2 verse 1 to 5, and it just explains what happened. It's quite short, but there's so much meaning from this story. So after reading Mark chapter 2 verse 1 to 5, I sat down and I started thinking, like, in life you may not be physically paralyzed, but you may be paralyzed by guilt, by addictions, by depression, by anxiety, by worry, by fear, and I just thought, like, I had to reflect, like, am I a friend who is like the 4 friends who lifted their paralytic friend? Am I that type of a person who never stops at nothing to get their friend to Jesus? Am I that friend who prays for their friend without ceasing? I really had to reflect, and I hope that after this video you take time to reflect and see if you are that type of a friend. If you check up on your friend, if you visit your friend, if you try and find out if they have any needs, and if you actually lift up those needs to Jesus for your friend, and you do not lose faith in their healing, in their marriage, in their job, and in their addictions or anything else. Are you that type of friend? Are you crazy to a point where you do anything for your friend? You literally dig a hole in the roof. But you may not have to dig a hole in the roof like what this 4 men did, but you may have to pray, you may have to encourage, you may have to visit your friend, you may have to just pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm just going to check up on you every day and see how you're doing, and stuff like that. So I hope you are that type of a friend who checks up on their friends. And it may not be a friend, this does not apply to friends, even your mom, your dad, your sister, your daughter, your son. Check up on people and do not give up on them. One quality that we get from the story is to not give up on our loved ones, to just do anything, and then now let's look at Jesus. Jesus is the healer, so be the friend who takes their friend to Jesus, who pushes their friend closer to Jesus. Literally, I want you to think of what you can do to just show them love, to show them Yeshua's love. It may be in action, it may be behind the scenes in prayer, it may be through giving gifts, or I don't know how you're gonna do it. But this got me thinking. This chapter really got me thinking. I was like, wow, I really have to think of how I'm going to show Yeshua's love to my friends. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really love the story. I think this is one of the best stories, classic Bible stories in the Bible. It's wow, guys. People dug into someone's roof for their friend, just to make sure that their friend meets the healer. That is so amazing. So being a friend who takes their friend to Jesus in prayer or through I don't know what methods is just beyond, I don't know, beyond the love is beyond measure. It's amazing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you give it a massive thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe and comment and share. I hope you guys will have an amazing week. Love you loads.